Good evening and welcome to Falcon Update, live on MC77. I'm Curtis Seaman.
And I'm Dan Allen. Messiah women's soccer looked to remain perfect in conference play on Tuesday as they took on the Warriors from Lycoming. Early in the first, Jessie Fisher gets a pass, dribbles around the keeper, and puts it in. Messiah would go up 1-0. Now, just less than 2 minutes later, this time it's Maddie Cole. She's going to get a pass. Check this out. She's going to hurdle the goalkeeper and send it to Julia Kine, who puts it in. And Messiah is now up 2-0. Late in the first, 3-0 Messiah. This is a corner by Lily Shover. And check this out. It deflects off Sheila Whitman of Lycoming and into the net. Falcons take a 4-0 lead. To the middle of the second, it's 6-0 Falcons. Here is Megan Mansfield. Watch this. She gets past the keeper, somehow keeps the ball in play and slots it back to Ashley Souter, who puts it in and gives Messiah a 7-0 lead. The Falcons would win by that score. Messiah's defense gave up 2 shots on goal to Lycoming in that game. Those are the only shots on goal Messiah has allowed in conference play this season.
It was senior night for the women's soccer team Saturday as they took on the pride of Widener College. 7 minutes into the game, and look at the passing here by Messiah College as Jessie Fisher scores her 6th goal of the season off a beautiful backheel pass from Kayla Herr. Only a few minutes later, and junior Megan Mansfield is all alone running up the field and scoring to give Messiah a 2-goal lead early in this game. The goal was Mansfield's 6th on the year. With time winding down now in the first half, Ashley Souter sends a beautiful cross over the middle that is headed home by Ellie Langature for her 1st goal of the season, and her teammates are loving her first score, and the homecoming crowd was loving the 3-0 lead. Early in the second half now, Mansfield once again takes the through ball and is wide open to score her 2nd goal of the game and putting Messiah up 5-0. The Falcons will go on to score 1 more goal and finish the game with a 6-0 victory. The win pushed their record to 14-1 on the year and 7-0 in the conference play. Up next, the Falcons take on Arcadia University in an away game Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
Top-ranked Messiah men's soccer took on number 14 Lycoming on Wednesday, and it looked to be a close game between 2 very high-powered teams. Early in the first, this is leading goal scorer Nick West. He turns around the corner, takes a quick shot, and scores. That's 14 games in a row with a goal for West, and the Falcons are up 1-0, still in the first. Messiah threatening again. Here's Trevor Goodling. He takes a shot, and it just sails high. Still 1-0. Late in the second, now same score. Samuel Ruiz Plaza with the give to West. And you guessed it, another goal for West. 2-0 Falcons. They would go on to win by that score. With the 2 goals in that game, West has now scored in 14 straight games and has 23 goals total on the year, putting him as the leading goal scorer in the nation across all 3 divisions. After the game, West was tied for 6th in program history for goals scored in a single season.
It was homecoming for the undefeated men's soccer team as they took on the Widener Pride Saturday night. Early on in the first half, Nick West takes the ball into the box but is taken out by the Widener goalkeeper. Luckily for the Falcons, the ball takes a nice bounce right to Jonathan Groothoff, I am Groothoff, who rockets the shot into the goal to give Messiah an early 1-0 lead, and this was his 1st goal of the season. Still in the first half and Messiah leading 1-0, David Alejos curls an incredible shot that goes just high off the crossbar, but once again takes a Messiah bounce to Micah Fitz, who sends it home with a left footer to give Messiah a 2-0 cushion. Late in the second half, Nick West takes a nice shot on the cross, but the Widener keeper makes a beautiful save, and the bounces were the story of the night as Justin Brodegum sends home the rebound for his 5th goal of the season. With only 30 seconds left in the game, the Falcons would give the homecoming crowd one last moment to cheer about as Groothoff makes a beautiful cross over the middle that Brett Hazeltine heads into the goal to close out the night with an exclamation point. Messiah would win the game 5-0 and push their record to 14-0-2 on the season and 7-0 in the MAC Conference.
Sports aren't done yet. We'll have more when we get back. Stay tuned.
Welcome to GoMessiah.com, the official website of Messiah College Athletics. On the homepage, you can find recent stories, a social media directory including general athletics and sports-specific accounts, and the Falcon YouTube stream. Scrolling down, you can view upcoming events with stats, audio, and video links if available, as well as recent results, including box scores and recaps. In those recaps, you can read the story along with view the photo gallery, next game information, team schedule, and roster. Game stats are on the side, and you can even watch the highlight of the night. These highlights are made possible by GoMessiah.tv, where you can view live streams and stats for all home games, regardless of where you are. GoMessiah.com, your home for everything Falcon.
We're the Village Water water ozonation system, and we're a member of the Collaboratory, which is a student-led organization on campus where students work with faculty members and advisors to serve a real-world client. Currently, we have a client in Nicaragua. We have a filtration system that purifies water using ozone. So being a part of the Collaboratory and the IPC gives us the opportunity to serve a real client and use what we're learning in the classroom to meet this client's needs.
Well, GoMasai.tv allows us to reach a greater fan base for all of our parents of student athletes who are out of state and can't make it to a lot of our games, or even our growing alumni base. It's awesome to be able to have the opportunity for them to touch base with us and watch our games live and enjoy seeing where the program's going.
Field hockey took to the road to face Lebanon Valley on Wednesday. The Falcons started off the match with a goal in the first minute when Megan Wetzel slotted a pass to Kristen Levesque, who took a quick shot into the left side of the cage. During the next 70 minutes of play, the Dutchmen held the Falcons scoreless, despite the Falcons racking up a total of 38 shots. The Dutchmen were even able to get themselves on the board in the 40th minute off a penalty corner, tying the score at 1-1. Neither team could find a connection during the remaining time in regulation, and the match went into overtime. But the Falcons quickly found the golden goal. Just over a minute into overtime, Kezia Lott sent a pass to Megan Wetzel in the circle, who took a one-touch shot into the back of the cage for the 2-1 victory over Lebanon Valley. The tally for Wetzel was her 9th of the season, and Wetzel remains as the Falcons' leading goal scorer this season. And the victory moved the Falcons to 14-0 overall and clinched the women a spot in the MAC Commonwealth Tournament. Field hockey will face the Arcadia Knights on Saturday.
Men's and women's cross-country traveled to Annville, Pennsylvania on Friday to compete in the Lebanon Valley College Last Chance Invite. Despite many of the top runners sitting this meet out, 5 of the men still finished in the top 30, 2 of those in the top 10. Freshman Silas Buckwalter came in with a time of 26:42.1. Freshman Matt Higgs came in just a tenth of a second later to take 8th place. Freshman Chad Long, the 3rd Falcon to cross the finish line, took 13th place with a time of 26:51.6. Matt Royer followed close behind, finishing in 22nd place, and Adam Barley rounded out the top 5 for the Falcons with a time of 27:54.4, taking 29th. Overall, the Falcons earned 71 team points to take 3rd place in the meet. On the women's side, 6 runners finished in the top 30. Freshman Brianna Hess led the charge for the Falcons, taking 4th place with a time of 24:11. Junior Rachel Gogler joined Hess in the top 20 with a 20th place finish. 4 Falcons fought to take 24th through 27th place. Elise Davenport, Allie Bishop, Michaela Lewin, and Emma Frigate finishing respectively. The women finished with 87 team points to take 3rd place overall. Both the men and the women will travel to Hunt Valley, Maryland on Saturday to compete in the MAC Championships.
Women's tennis traveled to Wilkes-Barre, PA on Saturday and Sunday to compete in the MAC Individual and Doubles Championships. On Saturday, the Falcons had 4 players advance in singles to play on Sunday. In the number 1 singles match, Caitlin Russell advanced to the first round after dominating in her first match 6-1 and 6-1. Russell went on to earn a 6-4, 5-7, and 10-6 victory over Megan Carter from Hood in the quarterfinal to advance to the semis. Emily Wickert fought her way into the semifinals for number 2 singles after a 6-2, 6-3 victory over Hannah Bonk from Misericordia in their first round and a 6-4 and 6-1 win over Lauren Good from Eastern in the quarterfinal. In the first round of number 3 singles, Rebecca Adams earned a 6-3 and 7-5 win. She then won against Alex Rodier from DeSalles 6-3 and 7-5 to claim a spot in the semifinals. Hannah Murray defeated her opponent 6-2 and 6-1 in both the first round and the quarterfinal of the number 7 singles to move to the semifinals on Sunday. In doubles play on Saturday, the duo of Caitlin Russell and Emily Wickert highlighted the Falcons' performance. The two advanced to the semifinals after defeating Lebanon Valley's number 1 doubles team 8-4. Russell and Wickert would claim a spot in the semifinals after their victory over Flu Florida by the same score of 8-4. On Sunday, Hannah Murray led the Falcons' effort, finishing as a runner-up for the number 7 singles. Murray earned a 7-5 and a 6-2 victory in the semifinals, but lost in the championship match to Wilkes-Barre's Alex Sierri by a score of 6-0 and 6-0. The 3 other Falcons remaining in the tournament on Sunday all dropped their matches in the semifinals. Caitlin Russell fell to her opponent 6-3 and 7-5, and Emily Wickert's opponent took the match 6-3 and 6-3. And Rebecca Adams was defeated 6-1 and 6-1. The doubles team of Russell and Wickert also dropped a tough match to Amanda Phillips and Ariana Chuprinsky of Alvernia in the top doubles bracket. The MAC championships close out the fall season for women's tennis, but the women will be back in the spring.
Field hockey shut out the Arcadian Knights in a battle for the top spot in the MAC Commonwealth in their homecoming match on Saturday. Messiah got on the board just under 11 minutes into the match when Hannah Palm redirected a pass from Kezia Lote right into the cage for the 1-0 lead. Then, 10 minutes later, the Falcons increased their lead to 2-0 after an unassisted goal from Taylor Wiederecht. Wiederecht entered a one-on-one situation with the keeper in front of the cage. The keeper deflected her first shot, but Wiederecht found the rebound and took a backhand shot into the back of the cage. In the 4th minute of the second half, Megan Wetzel sent a centering pass to Kristen Levesque, who chipped the ball into the cage for the 3-0 lead. Later in the second half, Casey Stife took a big swing at off a penalty corner through traffic in front of the cage to score the final goal of the match and claim the victory for the Falcons, 4-0. This win advances the Falcons to 15-0 on the season and secures their spot as the top seed in the MAC Commonwealth Tournament. The women will face Hood on Wednesday in their second-to-last match of the regular season.
When we get back, we will have Daniel Anuye with us, the director of Messiah's upcoming show, The Tempest. You won't want to miss this.
Grantham Community Garden. We grow over 40 different crops here, all grown organically, all by students, always student-led. We're one of the most profitable student organizations on campus. Everything that we grow here we sell, and that keeps the garden going and also pays the people who work in it. And now we're trying to work our way towards being a small farm. We have more paid student workers than we've ever had before.
Welcome back to MC77. I'm Brian Schermeyer here with Daniel Inoue, the director of Messiah's upcoming show, The Tempest. Daniel, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well, Brian. Yourself?
I can't complain. I'm doing pretty well.
Good.
Can you explain to me what The Tempest is about?
Sure. The Tempest is actually Shakespeare's last play that he's written by himself. And it basically explores this idea of a main character is Prospero. And he is this gentleman who has basically been abandoned on this island. He's been kind of his property, his kingdom has been taken over by his younger brother. And he finds himself on this island. And now, unbeknownst to him, the people that caused him all this wrong show up at a ship. And he basically creates a magical storm so that they crash land on the island, and then lots of other things happen. So that's kind of the beginning of the story.
Oh, wow. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
Could you just give me like a little insight to what your job as the director looks like?
Yeah, sure. So the number one job is to kind of come up with a concept, right? An idea for how I want to direct the show. So for this production, usually Shakespeare's The Tempest has like 15 men and like 2 women. So for our Messiah production, we decided to kind of flip the script. And so we have 15 ladies and a couple of men. So we basically gender bent all of the roles, or most of them. And so instead of Prospero, we have a Prospera. So Kelly Hertzler is my Prospera, and she's doing an amazing job. And really the rest of the cast as well. They're doing an awesome job really kind of exploring the dynamics of female and male power and the struggle between that. And so that's kind of the first and most important thing I do, is kind of develop that concept. And then, of course, take the cast through the actual rehearsal process and kind of work them through the process of figuring out, what the show's going to actually look like.
That sounds like a really interesting idea.
It's a lovely job. I love it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Could you explain kind of what goes into actually making the show?
Yeah, so probably the most important thing is, as I said before, we have to come up with a concept, teach the actors, help them kind of discover their characters, and then I also work with all of the designers to come up with the look of the show, right? What is the show actually going to look like? What is it going to sound like? What are the costumes are going to look like? So one of the things we decided for this production is we were going to do kind of a version of a Victorian, but we're going to kind of make it a little bit pirate. We're also going to kind of make it a little steampunk. So we're taking all 3 of those ideas and putting them together to kind of create the frame for our production.
Oh, that's really cool. Could you just tell the audience when and where?
Of course.
How
yeah, that's
how
why
they're
I'm
going to
here,
get
right?
to it? Yeah. You got to give the show a little bit of advertisement here.
Yes. So the production runs November 8th through the 10th, and then the 16th through the 18th. The evening shows are at 8 o'clock. The Sunday productions are at 3. $10 a ticket. But if you're a Messiah student or faculty member and you bring an ID with you, you get a couple $dollars off, so it's $7 for Messiah folks. And if you come opening night, it's a 2-for-1 special.
Ooh.
So
little date night.
It's a great date night, wow. Yes.
Hey, that's awesome. What is the hardest part of directing, in your opinion?
Oh, man, that's a great question. I think it's the thing that actually that I love the most about my job as well, and that is that you have a deadline, right? You're familiar with this as well with broadcasting, right? There is a hard and fast deadline that we will open on November 8th no matter what, right? And so we know going into it that we only have a very specific, a short amount of time to create the story and find a way to tell it for an audience that's going to be interesting. So that's the thing that makes me the most excited about theater, but it's also the thing that frustrates me the most at times.
Of course, that can be very stressful.
Yeah.
Have you ever directed here at Messiah before?
Yes, I am an associate professor of theater in the program, in the theater department. And this is my 4th year on campus. Okay. So I've done 6 or 7 shows, I guess, now so far here. I believe I'd have to go back and count. But I've been directing professionally for 12, 13 years. I think I've done close to 40 productions. So.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Which is your favorite?
Oh.
We'll go overall favorite,
okay.
And then your favorite that you've done here.
Sure. So again, kind of my easy answer is my favorite production that I'm working on is the one that I'm working on.
That's fair.
It's also the production that I dislike the most. It's the one that I'm working on, right? It's both my favorite and my least favorite. as far as shows go overall, I'm a big fan of a show that I did here, Anatomy of Grey. It was my first production here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, well, that's all the time we have.
All
Thanks
right.
for stopping in, Daniel.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back here on MC77 with Campus Calendar.
We're the Village Water Ozonation System, and we're a member of the Collaboratory, which is a student-led organization on campus where students work with faculty members and advisors to serve a real-world client. Currently, we have a client in Nicaragua. We have a filtration system that purifies water using ozone. So being a part of the Collaboratory and the IPC gives us the opportunity to serve a real client and use what we're learning in the classroom to meet this client's needs.
Adventure education is defined as the use of adventurous activities as a catalyst for personal and interpersonal growth. It's as much about the education as it is about the adventure. Within our program here, you definitely learn the leadership, and so together you get the complete package of not just the technical skills, but how to utilize and design those adventure experiences to help groups reach their goals.
Well, as an adventure ed major, you have to take certain outdoor activities courses. So you have the options of doing rock climbing, you could do canoeing, you can do caving, and learning all these cool activities that you could never do sitting in a classroom. It's definitely what makes this program awesome.
Welcome back to MC77. Here's this week's campus calendar. On Wednesday, October 24th, the Career and Professional Development Center is holding the Career and Grad School Expo. Students who are looking for internships, jobs, and grad school opportunities are encouraged to go talk to employers and schools featured at the expo. The event will be held from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. in Brubaker Auditorium. Don't forget to bring a resume. This Friday, October 26th, the Messiah College Percussion Ensemble and Give 'em Dance Ensemble will be performing at Parma Hall from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. The show is directed by Greg Hurley and conducted by Eric Forst. The show is free and open to the public, so bring your friends and family to enjoy a night of music and dance. This weekend, Lost Films is presenting Tully. The film focuses on the relationship between a mother of three and her nanny. This romantic comedy featuring Charlize Theron was first released at the 2018 Sundance Film Festival and has received praise for its portrayal of parenthood. Showtimes are at 6 and 9 p.m. on Friday and 3, 6, and 9 p.m. on Saturday. Tickets are free for students and $4 for guests. It's homecoming weekend, and there are many events taking place each day, so be sure to take note of what's happening around you throughout the week. On Tuesday, October 22nd, from 8 to 11 p.m., you'll have a chance to play Minute to Win It at the Union with your friends and the homecoming court. The court will also be there to serve an ice cream sundae bar. On Wednesday, October 23rd, karaoke night at the Union starts at 7:30 p.m. and will be followed by B-sides at 9 p.m. If you enjoy music, it's the perfect time to get together with friends for a midweek relaxer. Be sure to keep your eye on Instagram on Thursday, October 24th, as the Messiah College homecoming page will be holding an all-day giveaway. Prizes will be hidden all over campus, and hints will be revealed through Instagram posts throughout the day. To make sure you're seeing these posts, follow @MC_homecoming and turn on post notifications. On Friday, October 25th, the food truck fair will return to campus. Come try food from local vendors and meet new people in the process. The fair will be held from 5:30 to 8 p.m. in front of the Union. Finally, homecoming week will end with the homecoming dance on Saturday, October 27th in Brubaker Auditorium, starting at 8 p.m. Your homecoming king and queen will also be crowned at the dance, so get your dancing shoes and cameras ready for the night. As usual, there will be a photo booth and light refreshments at the dance. Tickets are $5 for students and $8 for guests. That's all for this week's campus calendar. I'm Charmaine Lim.
Thank you, Charmaine. So, Curtis, before we go, we're going to look at Nick West really quick. Think about that. We have 15 seconds. Does Nick West break the scoring record for Messiah this year?
You know what? He's on pace to do it. I say yes, he does. And men's and women's soccer, both of them, super fun to watch. Go watch them, support them. They're both fantastic.
Yeah, they're awesome. Well, that is it for this week's show. Be sure to tune in next week and stay tuned for MC Live. That's coming up next.
For Dan Allen, Brian Schermeyer, and Charmaine Lim, I'm Curtis Seaman. Have a great night, everyone.
SGA, amongst its many functions, offers 2 grants that are available for students. The first is the Professional Development Grant, which allocates funds for students to attend professional conferences. Whether you are networking with experts in your field or presenting research, you can submit an application and receive up to $300 to pay for admission, travel, or hotel costs. The grant committee looks for students who benefit directly from their conference experience and can positively affect the campus community. To apply, students can look online at messiah.edu/SGA. The other grant that SGA offers is the Hostedter Grant, which supports first-year, first-generation college students. Numerous studies have found that first-generation college students statistically are more likely to drop out of college after their first year. Messiah hopes to support these students so they can continue on their college journey and receive their diploma. And last year, SGA voted to endow a third grant, the Dr. Bernardo Michael Grant. This grant is a need-based grant that offers financial support for students of color. Retention rates are typically lower for students of color statistically for numerous reasons. And last spring, Student Senate voted to use capital funds to endow the grant. And because this is an endowed grant, the grant will be unavailable for students for the first couple years. If you have any questions about grants, email me, Sarah Furch, the Vice President of Communication, at sga@messiah.edu email. SGA wants you to succeed. Have a great night.
Acclamation Dance Ministry is a club on campus that basically incorporates any number of people to come and learn about dance as a form of worship.
Acclamation offers a lot of classes. We offer 3 levels of modern, 3 levels of jazz, 3 levels of ballet, and a point class, and 2 levels of tap.
Anyone can be involved in Acclamation. We want our doors to be open and arms to be welcoming in for people if they want to learn dance and learn that through a means of worship. We are a student-run organization. All of our officers are students on campus. All of our teachers are students on campus. And we are a ministry first and foremost.
I think one of my favorite parts of Acclamation is just being able to put homework down, just being able to go to the dance studio and have a good time with friends and worship God.
It's definitely been a constant in my life and a constant in my time at Messiah.
I also really love the community. I love that it really is a family.
It's a community of people that are encouraging and lifting me up in my danceability, not tearing me down.
I came to college where dance had always been something that really separated me from God. And so coming to Acclamation, I found people that danced with me and encouraged my faith, and also just a way to worship God that I hadn't really experienced before, and honestly now it's my most true form of worship.
For me, to use dance as a form of worship is to kind of give my body as a living sacrifice.
To give back to God what He's given to us, so just to use our talents and abilities for His glory.
For me, it means to just use movement in all that you are. In Acclamation, we say audience for one, you're dancing for God, and that's what praising God through dance is.
It's me recognizing that this gift is not my own and it's something that I want to give the Lord and also share with others that this isn't my own ability, but it's God's. For people who want to join Acclamation,
join. I've seen many people who have tried it for the first time and just absolutely love it, so just give it a try.
And it's just a place to come have fun, really, and learn how to glorify God in a new way. And if you've never danced for God before, it's a really cool way to praise Him.
Welcome to GoMessiah.com, the official website of Messiah College Athletics. On the homepage, you can find recent stories, a social media directory including general athletics and sport-specific accounts, and the Falcon YouTube stream. Scrolling down, you can view upcoming events with stats, audio, and video links if available, as well as recent results, including box scores and recaps. In those recaps, you can read the story along with view the photo gallery, next game information, team schedule, and roster. Game stats are on the side, and you can even watch the highlight of the night. These highlights are made possible by GoMessiah.tv, where you can view live streams and stats for all home games, regardless of where you are. GoMessiah.com, your home for everything Falcon.
Hi, my name is Abigail McBride. I'm an alumnus of Messiah, and I was a head tutor while I was here, so I had a lot of experience working with different writers and kind of talking about what were some common things that were hard, and what are good ways to think about that in a new way. And so today we're going to talk about how do you use sources, how do you use evidence in a paper, which is kind of a complex topic, so I'll also give you a few rules of thumb that might help you gauge whether or not you're doing it correctly or not. So in high school, there was a certain thing we were kind of taught with the 5-paragraph essay, which was helpful because it teaches you how to find quotes and how to put them into a paragraph, how to include them as part of an argument, which is really good because you want to have evidence, you want to show that you're not just coming up with ideas, but you really have things to back you up. You want to make arguments based on what other people have said. But part of the problem with what you've learned, or maybe more just how to extend that thing that you've learned, is changing that from just something where you just pick a quote and stick it in the middle of a paragraph and kind of feel like you've checked off, well, that proved what I had to say. You actually want to integrate it into your argument. You want to think deeply, you want to engage with it. A term that we've been using in the writing curriculum is the idea of thinking with others versus just incorporating a quote. Maybe a metaphor for this is instead of just putting a cherry on top of your ice cream, you actually want to have cherry ice cream. It needs to be integrated. It needs to be part of it. So that's kind of a tricky idea. It's kind of abstract. But a few rules of thumb. One thing that you can talk about, which I found this to be a very helpful rule when going through and making sure I'm actually analyzing and incorporating sources versus just placing them, is for every line or sentence of a quote that you have, you should have up to 3, maybe more, sentences explaining or analyzing that quote. You just don't want to include it. You want to engage with it and speak to it. And that's that idea of thinking with others versus just including the main idea. A few other tools is you don't always just have to use a quote and consider that your proof. If you want to make sure that you're really putting your ideas and incorporating them into the paper, you have other tools available to you. You can paraphrase a quote, so you can say it in your own words while still citing it, and that way you don't have to take up time with your paper just hitting the checklist of a quote, but you can incorporate ideas. And those are a few ways you can kind of use different tools to incorporate sources and think deeply and engage with them versus just including them in your paper. I think one of the biggest things you just want to look back over your paper to see is making sure that you're talking back to the sources. You're including contrary ideas. You're building on them. You're extending them, or you're saying exactly what you like about them. And that way, you haven't just plopped a cherry on it, but you're actually incorporating and mixing those sources into your argument as a whole.
Good evening and welcome to MCLIVE here on MC77. I'm your host, JoJo King, and we've got a great show for you tonight. For this week's edition of MCLIVE, we'll be having the cast of the theater department's upcoming production, The Tempest. Stick around, you won't want to miss this. We'll be right back after the break.
Well, GoMasai.tv allows us to reach a greater fan base for all of our parents of student athletes who are out of state and can't make it to a lot of our games, or even our growing alumni base. It's awesome to be able to have the opportunity for them to touch base with us and watch our games live and enjoy seeing where the program's going.
Welcome back to MC Live. I'm joined now by cast members of the production The Tempest, Rachel Roche and Michael Crandall. Hi guys, how are you?
Doing well.
Yeah, awesome. Well, can you tell me a little bit about the characters you play and why you enjoy playing them?
All right, so I play Ferdinand, who's this prince kind of character. He's very, very lovesick for Rachel's character.
Oh, and who do you play?
Miranda.
Oh, okay. And so do you guys, like, forbidden love, or like what's the...
A little bit.
It's forbidden, but also, unbeknownst to us, very heavily encouraged.
Okay, so I guess the real question is, without spoiling anything, what is the storyline like? What does that look like?
Well, my character, along with other members of the royal family, we're on a trip back from my sister's wedding, and we get lost in this tempest that her mother has conjured up for us, and we get shipwrecked on this island. I'm separated from the rest of my party, and I happen upon them.
Wow. Anything else to add?
We pretty much covered it without any spoilers.
Okay, so what's your favorite parts about the characters that you play in this production?
You know.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so Miranda, one thing I'm really enjoying about working on this role is she's kind of a massive contradictions. On one hand, she's very sweet and she's very caring and she's very loving, but she can also be very tough. She can be very compassionate and honest, but she can also have like a feisty, sneaky side to her also. And so just kind of discovering that and like the complexity of her character has been really fun for me.
That's awesome.
I'm just enjoying getting to play this more princely kind of character who's like lost. He's kind of afraid, he's not sure what's going on, and then he finds this girl who's just amazing and blows his mind, and it's really fun working out how this little kind of love story happens really quickly.
Okay. So for people in the audience who are going to come see this show, what is something that they should be looking out for?
Magic. There's going to be so many cool things. It's like a fairy tale come to life, and I'm really, really excited to share that with them.
Oh, that's so, and it's fun to watch you light up when you talk about it too. That's so great.
I was going to say the same thing. There's going to be so much magic that happens in the show. There's a lot of really cool things that I think the audience will enjoy. That's magical.
Lots of little secrets to look forward to. Oh, that's so great. So for anyone kind of wondering, you know, should I go, should I not, what is something that you can tell them that's going to sell it home? Like, I'm going to go to this and I'm excited about it.
I would say that, I mean, it's this great production. It's the last thing that Shakespeare wrote. It's just this, it's sort of a culmination of his works. It's got little bits and pieces of his past works kind of thrown in there, a little bit of Romeo and Juliet, little bits of Hamlet, all kinds of his other shows kind of wrapped into one, so it gives you a good idea of what to expect from the works of William Shakespeare.
Yeah, just going off of that, with Shakespeare, really, you have so many possibilities. You can, you know, do so many different things with it, and I think our concept for the show is very non-traditional, especially with casting, and a lot of female characters that were originally written to be male, and so that kind of creates a whole new dynamic that I think will be really interesting for audiences to watch. Even if they've seen productions of The Tempest before, I think it won't really be anything quite like our take on it. So
That's awesome. So you guys mentioned Shakespeare in this, obviously. Were you guys exposed to Shakespeare before this? Was this kind of like your first introduction to it?
This is my second Shakespeare show. I played Touchstone in As You Like It a few summers ago, fell in love with Shakespeare's kind of works and stuff, and I'm really excited to be doing Shakespeare again. It's a lot more fun than I think a lot of people would expect from it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've never actually done a full-length Shakespeare play before. In high school, I did like an AP literature class that was Shakespeare-based, and as part of that, got to compete in a national Shakespeare competition with monologues, but this is my first experience like actually being in a Shakespeare play. So
That's awesome.
It's been fun.
So Shakespeare is no small feat. So what does the preparation look like going into a show like this?
A lot of time spent memorizing your lines and making sure that especially because with this show we've sort of edited the text a little bit so that it's easier for people to understand some of his more complicated English wording of the time. And so getting the exact wording right is one of the bigger challenges, especially in the beginning stages of the production.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of work goes into theater in general, but usually when you first get the script, you understand what it's saying already. You just have to work on how you're going to say it and what you're going to do with it. But with Shakespeare, it's like there's an additional step of just figuring out what am I saying and how can I communicate this in a way that it will read to audiences that, you know, haven't been able to study the script and probably in preparation to the performance. Like, how can I communicate that in a way to them that they'll understand and be fully engaged?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's Shakespeare. I mean, he's an amazing writer, but definitely Old English for sure. So what is the audition process like for this?
We auditioned for 2 shows this time around. We auditioned at the same time for Infidel and for this one. For this show specifically, we had to have a Shakespeare monologue, and then for the other show, we had more of a contemporary monologue. So we just had to do both of those at the same time.
Wow, okay.
And then callbacks. We were given like cold reads of different scenes and just got to play around with that.
That's awesome. Have you guys gone through audition processes before? Was this kind of like your first time at Messiah or before Messiah?
I've gone through a couple of audition processes, yes.
Okay. Oh, that's so great. And is this y'all's first with Messiah?
No, I am a junior and I'm a musical theater major, so this is something that I've been doing every semester that I've been here at Messiah.
Oh, wow, awesome.
Yeah, I'm a sophomore. I was in the musical over J term last year.
Awesome. So looking back then to now, is this a play that you've always wanted to participate in? Was it something that you just were like, let's try this and see where we go?
For me, it kind of was. I've heard of The Tempest before, and it was always like one of those bigger name Shakespeare shows that you hear about. So I was like, oh, that'd be so much fun to be in someday.
Right.
So yeah, for me, it's something I've kind of always wanted to be in. Yeah.
That's awesome.
The Tempest wasn't one that I was super familiar with before getting ready for auditions. I'd read a fair amount of Shakespeare, but never this one in particular. And so over the summer when I was reading it, I was like, wow, this is actually really, really cool. And it ended up being like one of my favorite ones that I've ever read. And I did really, since I had never been in a full-length Shakespeare show before, I really hoped that I would get that opportunity, especially with such a fun one like The Tempest. So
yeah. Oh, that's so, well, I've never heard of The Tempest before until you guys right now. So how was this production chosen?
Well, there's a process that directors go through to submit shows, and there's a cycle for our seasons, but this year just happened to be the one that a Shakespeare show was supposed to happen, and this was the one that Dan put forth as wanting to happen. So.
Great. That's awesome. So now down to the details. How much do tickets cost for the show?
$7
for students.
Okay.
$10 for general admission,
Yep.
I think.
So if you want a $7 ticket, bring your student ID. That's very
Yes.
important.
And I think that Dan said this already, but it is, for the first night, it is buy one, get one free. So.
Oh, okay. So, okay, that's definitely good to know. Now, this might be the most important question of the night. Where is the play going to be, and what are the dates that it is running?
Miller Theater, November 8th through 11th, and the next weekend, which is...
It will be...
11th through 14th?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
It'll be shows Thursday through Sunday. Thursday through Saturday, the shows will be at 8 o'clock at night, and Sunday the shows will be at 3.
Good to know. Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for coming and talking with us about The Tempest. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, the cast will give us a sneak peek of The Tempest.
It absolutely changed my life. We got to use sports to glorify God, and it was awesome to be able to use our talents in that way. And on top of that, I also got to find more about my identity in Christ and my personal calling. And that was actually through the missionaries there who are alumni of Messiah. They talked to me about their need for accountants, which is my major, and so I've actually been able to use those gifts in a way I never thought was possible through missions and in Panama, a completely different country. So it was awesome. We're the Village Water Ozonation System, and we're a member of the Collaboratory, which is a student-led organization on campus where students work with faculty members and advisors to serve a real-world client. Currently, we have a client in Nicaragua. We have a filtration system that purifies water using ozone. So being a part of the Collaboratory and the IPC gives us the opportunity to serve a real client and use what we're learning in the classroom to meet this client's needs.
And now, a public service announcement from Messiah College Athletics.
Colin, did you see Bender's sweet goal at the soccer game last night?
No, dude, I didn't.
Ah, no worries. GoMessiah.com. It's right here.
Oh, sweet. The highlight of the night, man. Must have been a sweet goal.
Yeah.
Satchel, Player of the Week? Congrats.
Wait, what?
Just GoMessiah.com it.
Look at that. GoMessiah.com.
Hey, Coach Good. Okay, Steph, have you seen your pictures from the game last night?
No, I haven't.
No worries. GoMessiah.com it.
All right. Oh, wow. These are great. Oh, and there's one of me.
See more photos of Brooke Good, and check out stats, recaps, and highlights of your favorite Falcon teams on GoMessiah.com. Don't forget to follow the Falcons on social media.
At the Learning Center, we provide a free service for all Messiah students to come and get a little extra help. You can sign up for a Learning Center appointment on the MC Square homepage through the Learning Center quick link. What you want to do is you want to just click that link and it will prompt you to pick a subject and a time. We're open from 3 to 10 p.m. so any time period in those hours you can pick. You can sign up for a half hour or for an hour time slot, and then it will work with you to find a tutor that best fits your needs.
Hi, I'm Claire. Are you here for your Learning Center appointment?
Yeah.
I'm Joan Southerton. I'm director of the Learning Center, and we have 20 very capable tutors who are not only knowledgeable in their subject area, but very capable in communicating that information to students that might need a little extra help.
My name is Joy Endicott, and I've been to the Learning Center a couple of times for various subjects in health, and it's just been a really great experience, and it's a really great resource for students. I know a couple times that I've been, my professor noticed that I had come and that my skills had improved, and they were really happy about that, and they gave me a couple extra points on a test, or they commended me for doing so.
The number of students that I tutor varies depending on the week. I'm here for 3 hours a week, and people can sign up for either a half an hour or an hour slot.
I've been to the Learning Center for Chinese tutoring over the past year, and I think it was a really cool experience because, they went at my pace, and it's really good to get another opinion on something other than just the professor. A student that's been through it, kind of teaching you through everything, is definitely a better experience than just trying to, suffer through it yourself.
We're back here on MC Live with the cast of The Tempest, here to give you a sneak peek of their upcoming production. Take it away, guys.
You look wearily.
No, noble mistress, 'tis fresh morning with me when you are by at night. Now, I do beseech you, chiefly that I might set it in my prayers. What is your name?
Miranda. Oh, my mother, I have broke your hest to say so.
Admired Miranda. Indeed, worth the top of admiration, worth what's dearest to the world. Full many a lady I have eyed with best regard, and too many a time hath the harmony of their tongues brought into bondage my too diligent ear. For several virtues I have liked several women, never any with so full soul, but never some defect in them did quarrel with the noblest grace they owed and put it to the foil. But you, oh, you so perfect and so peerless, are created of every creature's best.
I know only one woman's face, my mother's, and from my glass mine own. Nor have I seen more that I may call men than you, good friend. How features are abroad I'm skilless of, but by my modesty, the jewel in my dower, I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagination form a shape besides yourself to like of. But I prattle something too wildly, and my mother's precepts I therein do forget.
I am, in my condition, a prince, Miranda. I do think a king, I would not so. Hear my soul speak. The very instant that I saw you did my heart fly to your service, and there resides to make me slave to it. And for your sake am I this patient log man.
Do you love me?
Oh heaven, oh earth, bear witness to this sound. I, beyond all limit of what else I the world do love, prize, honor you.
I'm a fool to weep at what I'm glad of.
Wherefore weep you?
At mine unworthiness that dare not offer what I desire to give, and much less take what I shall die to want. But this is trifling, and all the more it seeks to hide itself, the bigger bulk it shows. Hence bashful cunning, and prompts me plain and holy innocence. I'm your wife if you'll marry me. If not, I'll die your maid. To be your fellow you may deny me, but I'll be your servant whether you will or no.
My mistress, dearest, and I thus humble ever.
My husband, then?
Aye, with a heart as willing as bondage ere of freedom, here's my hand.
And mine, with my heart in it. And now farewell, till half an hour hence.
1,000,000. And that's it.
Thanks, guys. Thank you so much for that performance. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have tonight. Thank you to the theater department, Rachel Roche, and Micah Crandall for joining us tonight. We hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to tune in next Monday for Falcon Update at 7, or check out our YouTube channel for more campus news and musical performances. Have a great night.
Welcome back to MC77. Here's this week's campus calendar. On Wednesday, October 24th, the Career and Professional Development Center is holding the Career and Grad School Expo. Students who are looking for internships, jobs, and grad school opportunities are encouraged to go talk to employers and schools featured at the expo. The event will be held from 11 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. in Brubaker Auditorium. Don't forget to bring a resume. This Friday, October 26th, the Messiah College Percussion Ensemble and Give 'em Dance Ensemble will be performing at Parma Hall from 7:30 to 9:30 p.m. The show is directed by Greg Hurley and conducted by Eric Forst. The show is free and open to the public, so bring your friends and family to enjoy a night of music and dance. This weekend, Lost Films is presenting Tully. The film focuses on the relationship between a mother of 3 and her nanny. This romantic comedy featuring Charlize Theron was first released at the 2018 Sundance Film Festival and has received praise for its portrayal of parenthood. Showtimes are at 6 and 9 p.m. on Friday and 3, 6, and 9 p.m. on Saturday. Tickets are free for students and $4 for guests. It's homecoming weekend, and there are many events taking place each day, so be sure to take note of what's happening around you throughout the week. On Tuesday, October 22nd, from 8 to 11 p.m., you'll have a chance to play Minute to Win It at the Union with your friends and the homecoming court. The court will also be there to serve an ice cream sundae bar. On Wednesday, October 23rd, karaoke night at the Union starts at 7:30 p.m. and will be followed by B-sides at 9 p.m. If you enjoy music, it's the perfect time to get together with friends for a midweek relaxer. Be sure to keep your eye on Instagram on Thursday, October 24th, as the Messiah College homecoming page will be holding an all-day giveaway. Prizes will be hidden all over campus, and hints will be revealed through Instagram posts throughout the day. To make sure you're seeing these posts, follow at MC_homecoming and turn on post notifications. On Friday, October 25th, the food truck fair will return to campus. Come try food from local vendors and meet new people in the process. The fair will be held from 5:30 to 8 p.m. in front of the Union. Finally, Homecoming Week will end with the Homecoming Dance on Saturday, October 27th in Brubaker Auditorium, starting at 8 p.m. Your Homecoming King and Queen will also be crowned at the dance, so get your dancing shoes and cameras ready for the night. As usual, there will be a photo booth and light refreshments at the dance. Tickets are $5 for students and $8 for guests. That's all for this week's campus calendar. I'm Charmaine Lim.
SGA, amongst its many functions, offers 2 grants that are available for students. The first is the Professional Development Grant, which allocates funds for students to attend professional conferences. Whether you are networking with experts in your field or presenting research, you can submit an application and receive up to $300 to pay for admission, travel, or hotel costs. The grant committee looks for students who benefit directly from their conference experience and can positively affect the campus community. To apply, students can look online at messiah.edu/SGA. The other grant that SGA offers is the Hostedder Grant, which supports first-year, first-generation college students. Numerous studies have found that first-generation college students statistically are more likely to drop out of college after their first year. Messiah hopes to support these students so they can continue on their college journey and receive their diploma. And last year, SGA voted to endow a 3rd grant, the Dr. Bernardo Michael Grant. This grant is a need-based grant that offers financial support for students of color. Retention rates are typically lower for students of color statistically for numerous reasons. And last spring, Student Senate voted to use capital funds to endow the grant. And because this is an endowed grant, the grant will be unavailable for students for the first couple years. If you have any questions about grants, email me, Sarah Furch, the Vice President of Communication, at sga@messiah.edu email. SGA wants you to succeed. Have a great night.
The Career and Professional Development Center is designed specifically to help students with a lot of their questions regarding career and vocation. So if you're an incoming student and you're saying, I don't know what I should major in, or I've picked a major and I don't know what I should do with that major, we are a great place to come because we offer one-on-one counseling for students. There are 6 career coaches in our office that meet every day with lots of appointments to help you with your questions about a career and jobs and internships. So we do one-on-one counseling. If you've never built a resume, we can help you with that and correct that. If you've never done a practice interview, we do those. If you would like to meet with professionals in the field, we help you with that. Into the City is where each semester we take a trip to a major metropolitan area and take students with us. And we go with the sole purpose of helping students experience businesses and places of work in a large urban area. We've been to New York City, Boston, currently we're leaving for Chicago, Baltimore, Nashville, Charlotte. So all the major cities we have been trying to get to, and we take students with us so that they can find out what it's like to live in the city and work there.
I really enjoyed my time going to Nashville. It was a really great opportunity to really understand what networking is, just being able to see, wow, you know, from Messiah, that I could go and work in some of these big companies and small companies. Don't wait too long to go to the Career Center. They're here every day to want to help you. I know that really benefited me going there first year to be able to talk through my major change, what exactly a resume was, things to not say in an interview, a lot of different skills that were really beneficial that helped me get a leg up even from a first year students. I know sometimes you think, oh, I don't need to start thinking about this till sophomore, junior year, but there's a lot of resources that they have that can really help you get a step ahead.